Hello there. Welcome to CTT Loves Movies and Cool Talk Talks, both of my YouTube accounts. I'm going to put this video and stream it on both of them. And this is a review of my Oscar predictions from some time ago. The Oscars were roughly about 1 week ago, and we're going to revisit and review it today. And as far as my predictions are concerned, boy, was I wrong. I think I only got one, perhaps two right out of all the things that I mentioned. And I have an explanation for that, just to give myself a little silver lining. One of the reasons I was so wrong is that in previous years, I would always throw out my predictions a little closer to the Oscars. And by that point, people have gone out, they've done their interviews and all that. You kind of get a feel about who is going to win. So I would throw out my predictions and my choices. This year, I threw out my predictions and my choices right after the nominations. Now, keep in mind that in the Oscars, people vote on the Academy. Actors vote for actors, makeup people vote for makeup people, and so on. And they throw out their votes, and then that's how the nominees are chosen. But there's a second vote roughly about a week before the Oscars actually come out. And in that vote, that's where the winners are chosen through a voting process. So I think when you have an actor like Brendan Fraser, in this case, who I'll mention, is going out there, very likable, doing the interviews, doing the rounds, and saying all the right things, you can see the momentum shifting over to this area and that area. So I did pretty badly. I'm going to go through all the nominations that I have chosen, my choices and my predictions. I did not expect the Banshees of Inisherin to get nothing. I mean, if you saw my video, you can see that I really liked the movie. It was my choice for Best Picture, and it got absolutely nothing. The Fabelmans, nothing, got nothing. Tar, got nothing. Elvis, got nothing. I am honestly surprised. I want to talk a little bit about the Irish wave that has come through. 14 people that were nominated for the Oscars were Irish. 5 out of 20 actors were Irish. Most of them came up empty-handed. Now, two exceptions. One of them was Richard Bainham. He won for visual effects for Avatar, The Way of Water. And the other one was a live-action short, An Irish Goodbye. And that one brought about a nice little moment that when they went on stage, they sang Happy Birthday to the Stars. So hats out to you, top of the morning to you, all the Irish that are out there. But anyway, as far as actors are concerned, let's go through this real quickly. Best Actor. My prediction was Colin Farrell or Austin Butler. My choice was Colin Farrell. Brendan Fraser won, and that's fine in the sense that Brendan Fraser's performance was very good. Brendan Fraser, on a more human note, is a very likable guy. The comeback story that's been going around in reference to in the past that he was doing all these goofy movies, but then suddenly he had health issues, lost the surgery, divorce, his mother died. He was a victim of sexual assault, which kind of froze him up, and then he spoke about it and got blacklisted by Hollywood. So it's very nice to see him, this comeback story that happened. Best Actress. I thought that Cate Blanchett was going to win for Tar, even though my choice was Michelle Yeoh. And Michelle Yeoh did win, so I'm happy about that my choice won. But of course, on my prediction, I fell flat. Ke Huy Quan, that was my prediction and my choice for Best Supporting Actor. And it was nice to see little old short round from way back in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom from 30-something years ago come up there to win an Oscar today. I liked his speech where he talked about leaving China, ending up in a refugee camp for about a year, and coming here and mentioning the American dream. That was very satisfactory. That was one of the categories where I made it. I actually predicted correctly, and my choice was there as well. My other choice that did win as well, and I almost didn't get it, was that when I was predicting who was going to win Best Makeup, I was leaning towards one, and at the last minute during the video, I said, no, I think I'm going to go for The Whale, and Best Makeup did win for The Whale. Supporting Actress. My choice was Carrie Condon. But my prediction was Angela Bassett. Now, part of the reason is because Angela Bassett goes way back. Angela Bassett, deservedly so, she's a very fine actress. But looking back on it today, I could say that in Wakanda Forever, she had one really good, strong scene. And the rest of it was satisfactory. However, even though my choice was Kerry Condon, Jamie Lee Curtis as the winner was a surprise to me. I did not see that coming. I disagree with that one. I like her. I like Jamie Lee Curtis. I liked her speech. I liked the little nod that she made to her parents. I liked all of that. But she was not my choice and definitely not my prediction. I have to admit, however, that part of the reasons that I chose Angela Bassett is, I hate to say, it was partly because of the inclusivity that Hollywood is reaching out for. There were a lot of African-American actors and actresses that were shut out this year. And I said, okay, Angela Bassett is going to be the one. I'm not saying she doesn't deserve it, but I'm going to say that diversity was part of the reason that I predicted that Angela Bassett would win. However, two of the nominees that were in that group of Best Supporting Actresses were Asian. Talk about inclusivity. And two of the best acting categories that won were Asian, Michelle Yeoh and Ke Huy Quan. In the Best Supporting Actress category, none of the minorities, I should say, won. It was Jamie Lee Curtis, and I was really surprised by that. Okay, let's talk about the Oscars a little bit. I think all in all, I give the Oscars this year a very high B+. The only reason I don't give it an A is because the show went on at 3.5 hours. The show is good. You know, the show went along. It was moving along. But I still feel that at 3.5 hours is a bit too long. And that's the only complaint that I have. Now, some people complain that Jimmy Kimmel, some of his jokes fell flat. It didn't quite work out. Some people don't like Jimmy Kimmel. I get it. But this happens every single year. Not all the jokes are going to hit. That's number one. The only complaint I have in reference to Jimmy Kimmel and his jokes were that segment where he went out into the audience and he spoke to Malala, the Nobel Peace Prize winner. He was joking around there. She seemed uncomfortable. They brought out the cocaine bear. That whole skit right there, that would have saved the Oscars a good 7 or 8 minutes at least. And there was like that skit and a couple of other things like that. Another complaint that I have, that in memoriam, they didn't mention Paul Sorvino. There were a couple of others, actors and actresses, that escape me at the moment. Robert Blake, they made a little joke about him, but he did pass away shortly before the in memoriam video was I think I would say shortly after the in memoriam video was probably already made. And plus the notoriety behind the character of Robert Blake. I get it. So there were things like that kept me from giving it an A, but I think the show could have been a little bit shorter. Some people feel that the opening monologue went on too long, but the opening monologue always goes on a little bit long. And one of the reasons for that is that when they have an awards show, some people tune in late. So they have the host come out and talk and just talk for a good 10 minutes or so. I believe Jimmy Kimmel lasted about 15 minutes. But as soon as he was done, they brought out the supporting actor from last year, and I forgot who the other presenter was. It wasn't Will Smith for obvious reasons. But anyway, the point being is they brought out the supporting actors of last year to present the award for Best Supporting Actor and Actress. So they got 2 awards out back to back real fast. So I said, okay, good. This show is going to have really good momentum. But anyway, the 2 Oscars were given out. But I noticed that around not the halfway point, but after about an hour and a half into the show or something, they had only given out like 6 awards. I'm like, whoa, what's going on here? But all in all, 3.5 hours wasn't bad. They could have cut out about an easy 20 minutes off of the show. I do know they have to give a shout out to all their sponsors. They want to make their money. I did not approve of Disney putting out a trailer for The Little Mermaid during the awards show. Now, I know that Disney owns ABC, but still, I think that that's unbecoming of the Oscars. But all in all, I do give the Oscars a B. A B. I don't give it an A, roughly because of what I just mentioned. The show still could have been cut down a little shorter. Jimmy Kimmel, yes, some of his jokes were a little flat, but that's okay. That's okay. Again, the only weak moment was what I mentioned when he went out into the audience and the whole cocaine bear skit. I think that one of the reasons he went out into the audience is perhaps they were not ready backstage. Perhaps they were preparing. I'd have to go back and find out what came after that skit that he did in the audience. Was it Natu Natu, where they had that huge Indian backdrop and all the dancers had to get ready and all of that? And maybe that's the reason that they said, go out there and kill a little time. We need some time to get ready back here. I don't know, because these things do happen. Okay, going back to my accounts, my YouTube accounts. I have two accounts. I have CTT Loves Movies, and I have Cool Talk Talk. Cool Talk Talks that goes back for a few years, and that that YouTube account is more for history, but I've talked about film on it quite a bit. So that's basically the reason. So I'm kind of promoting CTT Loves Movies here in this video. Go there and see some of the other stuff that I have done. And I'll dedicate Cool Talk Talks. But for a while, I'm going to put my film reviews and videos and commentaries on both accounts. I'm just mentioning that, at least for a while, to see if CTT Loves Movies catches on a bit. Okay? On that note, thank you for watching. As you know, I blew it with all my Oscar predictions. But, hey, I do stand by my choices, however, and I felt cheated. I do feel cheated. However, most of the nominees, except for, as I mentioned, Jamie Lee Curtis, the nominees that did win, deservedly so. Deservedly so. I was happy to see some of them up there. So anyway, on that note, sayonara. Very good. Please subscribe. Send me your likes or your comments. Have a good one. Hey, I'm back. And I just realized after doing the video that I didn't say a word about the Best Picture winner, Everything Everywhere All at Once. Boy, so that's my mistake. I do apologize. Let me say something about it. I think I have to see that movie again. It was not my choice. There's a lot of people out there that love it. In fact, I've heard people say that it was life-changing. The movie talks about, it describes existentialism. There's philosophy. They touch on nihilism and so on and so forth. But, I had to see that movie again. I think that movie was a little bit, the movie that won was a bit too long. And as you know, my choices here was The Banshees of Inisherin, that I really did enjoy. I really liked it. And I did like The Fabelmans. I did enjoy Elvis and so on. The Banshees was my choice and my prediction, and I blew it. I didn't get it. But anyway, Everything Everywhere All at Once, there was a lot of people that loved it. And I'll just say that I'm going to have to revisit that movie again to see if there's something there that perhaps I missed. I do know that when I saw it, I was expecting one thing and I got another. But I just wanted to give a shout out and mention that. So congratulations to all the makers of Everything Everywhere All at Once. I will say one thing, it is a different kind of movie. So if you think that movies are formulaic, that Hollywood gives us the same old, over and over and over, go see Everything Everywhere All at Once, because at the very least, it is a very different kind of film. I'll also want to add that a lot of the movies that were nominated were very different this year. There were a lot of good films out there. So for people that say the quality of film, and I do say this myself, the quality of films in recent years have sort of dropped. And I think a lot of it has to do with money. I'll talk about that in a separate video. But this year, the Oscar nominees, there were a lot of good films out there. Even the films that I disagreed with, that I didn't care for too much. For example, Tar is another film that could have been cut down a little bit, but there is quality there. So anyway, I just wanted to give my congratulations, my shout out. I'm hurt that the Banshees didn't get anything, but for the makers of Everything Everywhere All at Once, well, congratulations. Anyway, again, sayonara.